Have you ever watched someone throw a pot on a potter's wheel and thought to yourself, I'd love to try that someday? Well, why not make that someday today? Hello there, and welcome. I'm so glad you've joined me. There's something truly magical about taking a humble lump of clay and transforming it into something beautiful and functional with just your hands and creativity. You know, one of the wonderful things about reaching this stage in life is that we finally have the time to explore interests we may have put on the back burner for years. Pottery is one of those perfect creative outlets that's not only deeply satisfying but also offers so many benefits for us seniors. It improves hand strength and dexterity, reduces stress, and provides a wonderful social connection when you join a class. Plus, there's nothing quite like the pride of creating something with your own two hands, whether it's a mug for your morning coffee or a beautiful bowl to pass down to your grandchildren. In this video, we'll go over 5 simple ways to begin your pottery journey, including how to get started without breaking the bank. I'll share where to find classes, what basic materials you'll need, and how to set up a small workspace even if you don't have much room at home. Whether you're looking for a casual hobby or perhaps even a second-act career, pottery offers something for everyone. Let's start with the very first step on your pottery journey, finding the right class. Many people think they need to jump straight into buying equipment, but I always recommend beginning with a class. Local community centers, adult education programs, and dedicated pottery studios often offer beginner classes specifically designed for adults. Some even have senior discounts or daytime sessions that fit perfectly into our schedules. Why not start by asking friends if they can recommend a local pottery studio that offers lessons? Word of mouth is often the best way to find a welcoming environment. When I first started pottery 5 years ago, my neighbor mentioned a wonderful little studio just 3 miles from my home that I'd driven past hundreds of times without noticing. If your friends aren't into pottery yet, a quick online search for pottery classes for beginners near me should bring up several options. When you call to inquire about classes, don't be shy about asking specific questions. Is the studio accessible? Are classes small enough for individual attention? Will there be other beginners or seniors in the class? A good instructor will be patient and understanding of any physical limitations you might have, such as arthritis or back pain, and can show you techniques and tools that make the process more comfortable. Your first class will likely focus on hand-building techniques, pinching, coiling, and slab building before you ever sit at a potter's wheel. These fundamental skills allow you to create beautiful pieces without specialized equipment, and they're perfect for developing a feel for the clay. I still remember the simple pinch pot I made in my first class. It was lopsided and rather primitive looking, but my grandchildren thought it was a treasure when I gave it to them as a pencil holder. They liked my pots and wanted to try it for themselves. They have become familiar faces around the pottery, and their skills are improving. There is no age limit in this game. Everyone gets a thrill out of creating their own pottery. After you've taken a few classes and learned the basics, you might find yourself completely hooked on pottery, as I was. This is when you'll start thinking about whether you want to continue with guided classes or perhaps set up a small area at home to practice. After 60, you can still do as much or as little as you want when learning a new craft. You may be happy simply creating a pot of your own and stop there. Or you may feel so inspired that you want to start creating regularly, maybe even with the intention of selling your work at local craft fairs or giving personalized gifts to loved ones. If you decide to continue, you'll need to learn about different types of clay. For beginners, I recommend starting with a mid-fire stoneware clay. It's forgiving, versatile, and relatively easy to work with. Most pottery supply stores will offer clay specifically labeled for beginners, and the staff can help you choose something appropriate for your first projects. Most pottery studios will fire your pieces for a small fee, even if you're not taking regular classes there, which is a wonderful option when you're starting out. The firing process, where clay is heated to extremely high temperatures to make it hard and durable, requires a kiln, which is an expensive piece of equipment that most beginners aren't ready to invest in. When I first started pottery, I made my pieces at home and brought them to my local studio once a month for firing. The staff there were always happy to offer advice on my work, which was an unexpected bonus. Now let's talk about setting up a simple workspace at home. The beauty of pottery is that you don't need much space to get started with hand-building techniques. A card table in the corner of a room, a section of your kitchen counter, or even a TV tray can work as your pottery station. You'll want to cover your workspace with canvas or a plastic tablecloth to protect the surface and make cleanup easier. Clay can be messy, but that's part of the fun. I keep a damp sponge and a small bucket of water nearby to clean my hands as I work, which helps contain the mess. As for basic tools, you'll be surprised at how many household items can double as pottery tools. A butter knife, a garlic press, an old toothbrush, and even a fork can all be used to create interesting textures and designs in your clay. That said, a basic pottery toolkit typically includes a wire-cutting tool, a wooden rib, a metal rib, a needle tool, and a few wooden modeling tools. These kits are generally inexpensive, usually under £15, and available at craft stores or online. My first set of tools was a gift from my daughter when I told her I was interested in trying pottery, and I still use some of those same tools today, 5 years later. One thing I wish someone had told me when I was starting out is the importance of wedging your clay properly. Wedging is like kneading bread dough. It removes air bubbles and ensures the clay particles are evenly distributed. If you don't wedge properly, your pieces might crack or even explode in the kiln. Don't worry though, it's not difficult to learn, and your instructor will show you how to do it correctly. If you have wrist or hand pain, there are adaptive techniques and tools that can help, or you can purchase pre-wedged clay to make things easier. Moving on from preparing clay to actually creating something beautiful, let's talk about the therapeutic aspects of throwing on a potter's wheel. There's something almost meditative about centering a lump of clay on a spinning wheel and slowly, patiently guiding it into shape with your hands. The concentration required helps clear your mind of worries and distractions and just think about the job in hand. The potter's wheel might seem intimidating at first, but don't let that stop you from trying. Your body's wisdom and life experience are actually advantages when learning wheel throwing. You've developed patience and an understanding of your physical capabilities that younger students often lack. I remember my first time at the wheel. My hands were shaking with nervousness, but my instructor placed her hands over mine to guide me, and soon I was feeling the clay respond to my touch. That moment of connection with the material is something I'll never forget. If wheel throwing interests you but you're concerned about the physical demands, know that there are adaptive wheels and techniques available. Some studios have wheels at different heights to accommodate various physical needs, or you might prefer to work with a tabletop wheel that doesn't require as much bending or leg strength. Always communicate with your instructor about any physical limitations, and remember that pottery is adaptable. There's no single right way to create. While creating your pieces is rewarding in itself, the magic really happens in the glazing process. Glazes are special mineral-based liquids that, when fired at high temperatures, melt to form a glass-like coating on your pottery. The transformation can be dramatic. What goes into the kiln, looking dull and chalky, emerges glossy and vibrant with color. Learning about different glazes and how they interact is a fascinating journey in itself. The first time you apply glaze to your own creation, you might be confused by the colors. They often look nothing like the final result. A glaze that will fire to a rich blue might look pink or gray before firing. This is where trust in the process comes in, something we've learned to appreciate over our decades of life experience. Studios usually have test tiles showing how each glaze looks after firing, which helps you make informed choices. I keep a small notebook where I record which glazes I've used on different pieces, so I can replicate effects I like or avoid combinations that didn't work well. Some seniors find that they enjoy the painting aspect of pottery even more than the forming of the pieces. If that sounds like you might want to look into bisque painting. Bisque is pottery that has been fired once but hasn't yet been glazed. Many ceramic shops offer pre-made bisque pieces that you can paint with specialized underglazes and glazes. This eliminates the clay forming stage while still giving you the creative joy of decorating and personalizing pottery. It's also a wonderful activity to share with grandchildren. What child doesn't love creating a special mug or plate with grandma or grandpa? Speaking of sharing pottery with others, one unexpected benefit I've found is the social connections that develop through this art form. Pottery classes often create a sense of community among participants. There's something about working with your hands side by side that encourages conversation and friendship. In my Thursday morning class, we've celebrated birthdays, supported each other through health challenges, and even organized a Christmas pottery sale to benefit our local food bank. These connections have become just as valuable to me as the pottery skills I've developed. If you find yourself becoming more serious about pottery, you might eventually want to invest in your own equipment. A basic setup could include a small tabletop wheel, basic tools, a few bags of clay, and some glazes. However, I'd recommend waiting at least 6 months to a year before making significant investments. Your preferences and interest within pottery will likely evolve as you learn, and what seems essential now might not match your needs down the road. Many studios also offer open studio time where you can use their equipment for an hourly fee, which is a good intermediate step between classes and having your own setup. You will love sharing your work with your family. In our mass-produced world, handmade items have a special significance, and creating them connects us to generations of artisans throughout human history. As you begin your pottery journey, remember to be patient with yourself. Your first pieces may not match the vision you had in mind, and that's perfectly okay. Each failure is actually a valuable learning experience. I keep my first lopsided bowl on my pottery shelf as a reminder of how far I've come. Progress in pottery isn't measured by perfection, but by the joy you find in the process and the gradual improvement that comes with practice. At our age, we have the wisdom to know that mastery takes time, and we can enjoy the learning process without the pressure of perfectionism that often plagues younger artists. There's a Japanese concept called wabi-sabi that celebrates the beauty of imperfection and transience. It's the philosophy that a crack in a pot filled with gold becomes a feature, not a flaw, much like the life experiences that have shaped us into who we are today. Remember, pottery is about more than creating objects. It's about expressing yourself, finding moments of peace in a busy world, and perhaps discovering a part of yourself that has been waiting to emerge. Whether you make 1 pot or 100, take 1 class or become a studio regular, the experience of connecting with this ancient craft is valuable in itself. I hope this video has inspired you to give pottery a try. Your local community likely has resources waiting for you. Classes, studios, or perhaps even a neighbor with a wheel in their garage who would be delighted to share their knowledge. Take that first step, get your hands in some clay, and discover the simple joy of creating something from nothing but earth and imagination. You might be surprised at what unfolds, both on your pottery wheel and in your life. If you've enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel for more creative inspiration for vibrant living after 60. I'd love to hear about your own experiences with pottery or other crafts in the comments below. Until next time, keep creating and enjoying this beautiful chapter of your life. And if you'd like to try your hand at other pastimes or hobbies, click the link below and look through our channel for inspiration. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.